Hi YouTube friends, welcome to Open Hand Farm. I'm Penny and I am working on making some all-purpose DIY cleaners. I like them to be all natural, so I found one from a fellow YouTuber. Her name is Leah and she is on Little House on the Mountain YouTube channel. I watched her make it, so I made some, but after she made it, she just turned and cleaned a window with it. And I thought, well, I can use vinegar to do that. So how well does this clean is my question, because it's very easy to make. So what I want to do is I want to put together another jar, because I'm going to use the jar that I already made to do some cleaning in a minute so that we can see how strong it is. But I want to start another jar because it has to sit for quite a while in order to make. So the first thing you're going to need is a jar. You can use just a mason jar, or this time I'm going to use one of these flip top jars, but it doesn't matter what size either because the recipe is just per jar. I do want to cover the ingredients that go in here, but also tell you why that ingredient would be great to go in here. I wondered myself, is this a cleanser that I would want to use in the bathroom? Will it kill germs? Or do I just want to clean windows with it? So I looked up each of the ingredients to see what benefit they would have in this cleanser. So the main liquid in the jar, no matter what ingredients you put in it, is vinegar. And we have all heard about vinegar and how it is great at cleaning things. It is a solvent, and solvents dissolve things like soap scum and grease. So that's a good thing. You want that in your cleaner. It is also a deodorizer. It takes away undesirable odors. It has an acid in it, and that helps dissolve hard water deposits, but it also is a disinfectant, so it kills germs. And just as a side note, it also rinses completely clean, and it's dirt cheap. So the liquid ingredient in this is vinegar, but that'll be the last item we put in it, but I wanted to go over that for you. So Leah suggests that you use some sort of evergreen. So that can be pine needles, spruce needles, cedar needles. You know, she went out in the forest and picked some. I don't have a forest where I live. I wish I did, but I don't. But I do have pine trees. So I just went outside in the front yard and I just cut some pine needles. What you want to do, like I said, there's really no measurement. You just want to shove as much of this stuff in the jar as you can get in there. Of course, you want to save room for the other ingredients. So I'm shooting pine needles all over the place. So I'm just going to start there with the pine needles. I think that's good. So the second ingredient that she suggests using is a citrus. So you want a lemon, orange, or grapefruit. I personally use the lemons, and so I looked up to see why. And lemons are actually antibacterial due to the low pH that the lemon has. It is one of the best natural cleansers, which I know you've probably also heard if you've done any research on homemade cleansers. A lot of them include a lemon. So I'm just going to kind of cut this up, and I'll use the lemon for my tea or some recipe or something, and just peel this lemon off, this peel off. I think an orange peel would smell really good. I did not look up the properties of orange. So if you want to use an orange, you might want to do that just to see. I assume, of course, you know, you shouldn't always, I put the wrong thing in there. You shouldn't always assume, but I'm assuming that it would have the same pH situation that would also make it antibacterial. So I'm just going to put this one lemon peel in here to start with because I want to leave room for the other ingredient. So I'll go ahead and tell you the next ingredient that she suggests using is an herb. And that could be like thyme or rosemary or sage or whatever herb you have. I don't know if any of you have gardens, have herb gardens. This is the time of year that there's farmers markets. Maybe you could find some there for a good price. I, fortunately, have a huge, scary monster rosemary bush in my greenhouse. Actually, I think we're going to have to enlarge the greenhouse just so that we can get to the rosemary and be able to trim it. It is scary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just shove as much of this in here as I can. Because rosemary is antifungal and antibacterial. Okay, the jar is shoved full. So now I'm going to add vinegar. And it's not apple cider vinegar, not apple cider with the mother. It's just plain old cheap distilled vinegar. So I'm just going to fill this up. I will tell you that Leah suggested not using a metal lid on the jar, but I did on this one because apparently the acidicness of the different ingredients can kind of eat away at the metal, but it just sat there and didn't really get on it, so I don't see that as a problem. Now, she suggests that if you want to kind of hold that down on top, you can put some more peel on top too. I'm squirting lemon juice everywhere. I hope it didn't get on the screen. To just kind of lay it in there. If you've ever done any fermenting, it's like what you would do with cabbage, and where you just kind of top it off to hold all the ingredients down so that it stays in the liquid. So that's what I'm going to do. So that's it. The cleanser is made. Now it's just a waiting game. You need to wait anywhere between 4 and 8 weeks. And so that's why I decided to make a bigger jar this time, because the next time I strain it out, if it works really well, I wanted to make sure to have plenty of it. So I'm going to clean this mess up and then we're going to get to cleaning. Okay, so after your cleanser has set for 4 to 8 weeks, this one has set about 5.5 weeks. I wanted to see how it would do earlier than 8 weeks. I think I will leave the other one 8 weeks. We'll see what it does. So the first thing you want to do is just take the lid off. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. And whoa, that smells good. So you're going to want a spray bottle. Leah used an amber colored one, but I don't have one. So I'm just going with this for now, and I'll try and find one and transfer it whenever I can. So we want to not, of course, take all of this stuff with it into the spray bottle. So I'm just gonna rubber band some cheesecloth, and this is just like in the crafts sewing section at Walmart. It's nothing fancy. I think they also probably carry it in the kitchen section. So I'm just gonna fold it over a couple times because I want it to catch everything. And I'm going to, that might be a little bit small. That'll work. I'm gonna rubber band it on this jar. You could, if you wanted to, pour it through a metal strainer or whatever first, but I'm just gonna try this and see what happens. If I mess up, don't do what I do, do what I say. All right, we'll see what happens here. I'm only gonna fill it half full. Oh, that's good. See the pretty kind of yellowy color of it? All right, I'm gonna stop there. I think that's about half, considering we've got the little handle thing there. And that leaves me still about a pint of liquid. And we might need that straight for our last project. It could get scary. All right, so now I'm going to fill the rest of this with water. This is just a purifier pitcher. It's nothing fancy, but you know, I assume you could use tap water. I don't think it's a problem. All right, so what I have decided to do is I have 3 items that I want to try cleaning. 2 that aren't so bad. 2 I got at a garage sale. One of them is this lid for a crock, and it's got like nastiness on it. And then the other smaller thing is this little bucket that is really gross inside. I don't know if you can see it. You'll see it later. But I want to know for sure before I start using the cleanser if they just wipe off with water and a rag. So I will start there on both of these items. I know the third item, that will not work. So I'm going to start there with these 2 items. And if there's still dirt, then I'm going to use our cleanser. So let's see what happens. At this point, I'm just going to see what comes off with the washcloth and water. I'm not scrubbing, but I am pressing firmly. As you can see, there's some kind of sticky, greasy residue along the edges. I am using the diluted cleanser, pressing the same amount that I did with just the water. I did press a little bit harder right there because there were some divots in the ceramic that was hard to get into. Overall, it did a really good job. Here's the inside of this little bucket. It's really gross. Again, I'm starting with just water. Take a rag and wipe the edges and the bottom off. The water took some of the dirt out, but it definitely needs more cleaning. Again, I'm using the same pressure as I did with the water. After touching the outside, I realized it was kind of dirty too. I was very pleased with the results. You guys, that was amazing. It really was. Like the water, I scrubbed hard with just the water. I couldn't tell if you could tell I was scrubbing the same pressure. Tried not to just scrub something. Part of the crock though had little divots in it, so I had to push a little bit to get the dirt out. It worked great. I am really surprised, I'm not gonna lie. Now, here's our next step. I'm almost embarrassed to take you in there. It's my guest room, bathroom. So over the past few months, we've had like 3 different family members in and out. And because it's the guest bathroom, I never think about cleaning the shower because we never use it. And I happened to open the curtain the other day. I was like, oh my gosh. So just prepare yourself. But that will be our ultimate test. Let's go. So here it is in all of its glory. There was a bath mat in there and it was really gross underneath. I am using the diluted version to do the walls, but the very bottom of the tub has little divots, so I did use a little bit of the undiluted. And here are the results. I think they speak for themselves. You guys, I have to tell you, I am extremely impressed. I feel really, really good about what this cleanser can do. And I haven't used very much of this one. I did go to the straight that was not watered down for the bottom of the bathtub because there had been a mat there and stuff had kind of gone under the mat. It was really gross. And I did end up using a brush because the bottom of the bathtub is like little divots everywhere, so just a rag wasn't getting in there. But it's not like I had to scrub it clean. I was just getting it out of the divots. I personally have for about 14 years used Melaleuca products, and I would say that this is comparable to the Tough and Tender product that they have. I was extremely happy. Actually, the Tough and Tender is the all-purpose that you would use on something like this, but then they have a tub and tile that cuts through the soap scum and does a really good job. This worked just as well. So really it takes up the use of two different cleansers that I would normally have on hand. I am so glad that I started this jar. I am going to let it go 8 weeks because I think I have enough here to last me 8 weeks. If I needed to water this down, I can, which would give me a whole nother spray bottle. But what I did, which is a good little idea, either put a reminder on your calendar of the day that you made it, the day that it will be done, or I just wrote August the 16th on here, and so as I'm going through my day, I'm like, where am I on that? And I'm like, oh yeah, not ready yet. And then I don't have to look at my calendar. So thank you so much, and I hope that you will use this recipe. And Leah, thank you so much. It's amazing.